Okay. Good evening. I believe this is August the 4th, 2014, and I have a story. This evening I was sitting, and my conscience led me to read some of my study materials that my father provided for me. I was directed to the last book. For whatever reason, my conscience directs me. I usually don't question my conscience in these issues. I just normally follow. And it led me to read chapter 14 of the last book. As I was reading, I came to a segment which sparked a recollection of an explanation or a direction or a teaching that I had been given previously years ago. I believe I was in a technological advancement course, and our instructor at the time was embellishing slightly, I would say, or he was giving us a possibility of where technology may take us. And the way he explained it was that the powers that be are attempting to unify the planet under one rule. That ruler, it was suggested, may be from Greece or from one of the countries in the Eurasian continent. But one of the things that was to be proposed was the followers of this unification, those that believed, those that joined, those that wished to participate would be required to have a microchip placement somewhere on their body, in their hands, in their wrists, or their arms, or in their necks, or in their head behind their ears, or someplace on their person. And of course, it was explained that it was more so for health reasons, for identification reasons, for location, for business information, things of that nature, things that are supposedly meant to help to guide each individual to prosperity, which is supposedly most people's ultimate goals. But of course, in my mind, I'm sure that they would be used for more than that. I'm sure GPS tracking would probably be involved. And I'm sure there would be a way to administer a form of control through the same chip, but that's just my mind. But anyway, the segment that I was reading, that I came to, that reminded me of this class was actually chapter 14 in the last book, beginning at verse 6. And it read, "Then I saw another angel flying high in the air. The angel had the eternal good news to announce to the people living on earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and race of people. The angel said in a loud voice, 'Fear God and give him praise. The time had come for him to judge all people. Worship him. He made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the springs of water. Then the second angel followed the first angel and said, She is destroyed. The great city of Babylon is destroyed. She made all nations drink the wine of her sexual sin and of God's anger. Now, my interpretation of Babylon, it's all conceptual, and I believe that when they say Babylon, they're referring to greed. They're referring to self-importance. They're to power, to they're referring to free market capitalism. They're referring to dominance. They're referring to the spirit of control, that sort of thing. And that's just my interpretation. But in any event, it goes on to read on segment 9, a third angel followed the first two angels. The third angel said in a loud voice, God will punish all those who worship the beast and the beast's idol, and agree to have the beast's mark on their forehead or their hand. They will drink the wine of God's anger. The wine is prepared with all its strength in the cup of God's anger. They will be tortured with burning sulfur before the holy angels and the Lamb, and the smoke from their burning pain will rise forever and ever. There will be no rest, day or night, for those who worship the beast and its idol, or who wear the mark of its name. This means that God's holy people must be patient. They must obey God's command and keep their faith in Jesus. Now, in previous segments, previous chapters of this particular book, it always referred to Babylon or the spirit of Babylonians as a woman, as a female. And without intent on displaying a sexist attitude, which is not what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to read and interpret. In the first book that I read, it was the female who fell prey to temptation, who led the man who loved her into ruin. So in my opinion, the reason why in this particular book it is referred to as a female, it seems to me that it's referring to the weakness of temptation, the weakness for temptation, not necessarily a woman. It's all of these things that I've learned and read are conceptual, or they're analogies meant to stimulate thought. But if you will remember, I read in verse 10, I believe, verse 9, The third angel followed the first two angels. The third angel said in a loud voice, God will punish all those who worship the beast and the beast's idol and agree to have the beast's mark on their forehead or on their hand. Now that particular passage is what reminded me of what that professor told me, that technological advancements may, in a way, be leading to something of that nature, where the followers and the believers of this new united earth, this new united system, will be required to have a microchip placed somewhere on their person for identification purposes. Wouldn't it be interesting if that was the determining factor of those who follow God or those who follow Babylon or Babylonian spirits? Oh.